All right. This is going to be one of the videos in my. I was going to make a whole video series about this, but I keep trying to make up my mind which video and subject matter that I want to make. If I keep rattling on and on, I'll have like one whole long ass video before I get to a point because there's so many points about this. The right to do some of the stuff that I do in the YouTube videos, but I want to start out by, there'll be other videos like this, but I'm making a case here by how society, everything from workplaces to your society out there in your actual life outside of workplaces and everywhere. It could even be in the house where you live with some kind of mandatory behavior that's imposed on you, and it's like, and this mandatory behavior is concerning how society and people around you, your peers, are gradually making things dangerous to a point where it's ridiculous. And public education has a lot to do with it too, and it's kind of everywhere. But okay, I want to start out by saying, first of all, everything, if any of you guys following me in my videos, I wanted to clarify a little bit more of where the stuff I do originates. I mean, starting out when I was young enough and to, or old enough to be able to work, but I did other work before I was even old enough to actually work a job. But then when I got old enough to work a job, I mean, whether I'm started work when I'm old enough to actually go to work, or when I was younger than that, I've done jobs which usually people back from my day, and even my whether your parents' day or your relatives' days, it was understood. There were some things that were dangerous. You went out and played football with no equipment with the kids, even though I didn't do very many sports in high school, but I still, while everybody else was playing football and doing dangerous shit, and I had stepbrothers literally always breaking arms or body parts playing football, no gear, just out there. So I grew up around the thing where, even being this world-class wimp when I was younger, I was still able to do actually work that people call hazardous now. And it's not just the work, it's just how you're expected to do the work these days as opposed to years ago, now making every little thing dangerous. I don't know, I used to pick up things over my head, pick up pallets, drag things, we picked up and dragged things around, this was even in my younger days, in my wimpier days before I was old enough to work, okay? This was just common sense shit that you were encouraged to. And I want to say, how relevant is it to the knuckle push-ups and all the shit that you see me do in my videos and all that? Well, all the shit I do kind of originated from that. It started turning into that, like shit that when I had extra time on my hands and I was bored, There was a few jobs I had from the span of life, that were temporary jobs where you had to be there a certain amount of hours, right? I had a couple of them where you had to be there a certain amount of hours, right? And I bored as hell. And then maybe when the truck comes, one particular job I remember waiting for the truck to come, right? And you take maybe 2.5, 3 hours if you're lucky to empty a truck. And if they only had one truck, you were working a couple hours. And this was in a process, like you're working for a temp agency, they'll assign you somewhere else until you get that one that's the hiring pile you're hired. And then that's how I end up landing a job once that I held for like 10 years, back in the day. But The point is now they're making things ridiculous where it's dangerous, where you're working on an eggshells, that every little thing is dangerous. And I think that people are weaponizing that. They're using it to weaponize you. It don't matter if you're black or they're doing it because you're color, and they're not just doing it because you're color and your race. They're doing it to other people that are the same race as them too, just to get rid of people. And but there's another thing I want to talk about in videos later. So anyway, this video is a precursor to other things I want to talk about separately. So I'm just calling this some random jibber jabber. But yeah, not recently. Recently, I kind of lost my job over the shit that I used to do before the clock at this particular workplace. I know a lot of you guys. I know a few of you, a list of you that watch my videos, and you know. And it's not like I'm going to whine and cry about it. Even when some of you guys knew me on Facebook and other social media, it's not like I'm wow about it. So I want to say too, some of you guys in workplaces, if you have a higher paying job, don't risk it, but be damn careful if you're in a better paying job that shit maybe you're allowed to do it first, and all of a sudden they're clamping down and doing crackdowns where they want to conveniently get rid of people, like even the higher paying jobs where they want to get rid of you because they're tired of paying that wage and all that too. But in my case, there was a lot of stuff that I was allowed to do. They were looking the other way as long as it was maybe that little bit of stretching. But I had a lot of busybodies that got jealous and offended, regressive liberals, regressive conservatives, a mixture of, I don't know, skinny dudes in stupid t-shirts, shirts and shorts and tennis shoes that give me shit looks because they're jealous. And when they should be wearing boots in a work environment like this. And I was I get canned for stupid shit like that because people were jealous because somebody's showing their power, yet I was one of the few people that even wore boots to the job. But and my smart mouth in other ways led to it. But at the same time, yes, I admit I'm doing it right in videos, right with you guys watching, how I was able to achieve some of the other things that I was doing that were across the line. I was giving money and gifts for people that would aid and be a partner in crime as far as holding the camera, because I had to do all the cameraman stuff myself. And I considered it quite an adventure, People were getting, money and gifts as an incentive to look the other way or help me with the stuff. And I had stuff that I bought a new item, new speaker, this and that. And I'd be, hey, anybody who wants this? I got new, and, in some insensitive, it's in some senses, excuse me, and in a few senses, it is out of the goodness of my heart because I want somebody to have it, try it. But at the same time, yes, not that it's an ulterior motive, but a little thing in parentheses to pick up on, look the other way, don't rat me out or whatever the hell too. But little things that went on with people, like a small shouting match in a restroom over stupid shit I get called in the office for, and then I get a cracked on them. I get called in the office, right? The one female boss. When I first got on with the company, I'm like, sign up. I'm doing the filling the paperwork, so to speak, to get out of the personnel service to be on with the company. This woman at first was raving about me and complimenting me because I, quote, do yoga. But I guess people also found out that, yes, there's yoga in it, but it isn't just yoga, and they find out what it's for. And sometimes, with certain people that you want to give an innuendo, not get violent, say, I don't care what you think, your passive aggression, and one-handed knuckle push-up, standing on there and grinding your knuckle while one-handed on the floor. My motto is, rather than be an aggressor and starting to fight with anybody or knowing how somebody are, just be there one-handed on one fist and practically doing a full split and push up and grinding my hand against there would be a way to prevent fights. I says, I don't care what you think of me or your shit looks, your passive aggression, or you don't like me or not. Like a hint there that I don't have to be afraid of you. Not that I'm going to do anything any kind of way, But there was a little bit of that too, which there's nothing wrong with. But people are doing a lot of shit in the name of safety, which is just ridiculous. I mean, well, anyway, the ultimate thing that happened about me losing my job, it says I never liked the job anyway. You get another one, big deal, won't be shit. But I already had an agreement with them when I called in the office. Oh, you don't want me doing any of that anymore? Okay, fine, I quit. So the next day, right, I do just a plain old stretch, like good old fashioned touching your toes and palm hitting the floor. So the boss, the dude, with his fancy little dark black striped tattoo that makes him look so tough. Oh, no exercise in here. You're fired. I'm like, what? Just for doing this? You're fucking kidding me? I says, I agreed to not do any of that other stuff anymore, and I understand that, but come on. That's part of it? So what worries me is, say, you watching this, right? And you didn't do any of the stuff I do, and they decide no exercise and it's a safety hazard, but yet everything you do at your job is more dangerous. But yet, say you decide to do a simple stretch or tying your boots, they can fire you and you can't do shit about it, you know what I mean? But I admit in my case, because people knew all the stuff that I do, they do. But this particular boss, in a way, that tattoo doesn't make him look tough in any kind of way. He's one of them person with a not really built or anything. That tattoo doesn't mean he's tough, like he can do anything, maybe if me and him got in a legitimate boxing ring or something, he can't do nothing. A tattoo for somebody like this just means I'm somebody in a company that has the power to hire you or fire you. That makes me look tough, and that's what that tattoo means. Not like these other people out there that that are both black and white people that could kick your ass, and has a tattoo that you have to have any respect for, you know what I mean? And out here in my town, we have an understanding though. You deliberately disrespect somebody, unlike the way some of these people in these workplaces disrespect people. If I acted like a few of these people in some of these workplaces and did that in a town, the shit that people do in workplaces, you do that in a town like here, man, you get your ass kicked and you get beat within inches of your life. But you got people in workplaces that act like an authority, or they're not an authority figure in a workplace, right? And they don't have to be one, you know what I mean? They don't have to be a boss or something. They can be somebody, that's like, oh, I can speak to you any way I please, or this or that. And I got a bunch of buddies standing by me. You do anything, either run your mouth or stand up to me, you're the aggressor. And like you can work in a place where, half of the people in the place or more have somebody else in the place that's related to them. That could be either a good or a bad thing. But then I also had a thing too where I knew right off the bat that because a larger percentage of them are women too, and I was a firm believer in don't talk to women other than ways pertaining to the job unless you have people in the lunchroom you know real well and you talk and joke or whatever. But the one good thing about this last place I worked, the feminists can't bitch, but some of the diehard militant feminists would bitch anyway. But I did have one tendency, what I did too, that I may have alienated a few of, I don't want to say the women were friends or not friends, but you know how you, not necessarily friends, but you get along real well and cordial. I might have, and there's a few that, I hate to say it, the busybodies, and I don't want to be prejudiced against that, or I don't want to be pure prejudice against statures, call somebody fat or call somebody this or that. But you have the gossips that if you get mad enough, all of a sudden they become fat ignorant gossips or whatever, dude, or jealous or whatever. But I did have a tendency to maybe some of the women in the place where I used to do my routines may have unwittingly alienated some of them, because maybe I'd do a separate video and talk about this, but I had a tendency to just strut right in the place in the morning after. I don't drive a car. I either ride a bike or walk to work. I refuse to drive a car and pay these insurance companies and give away my money. But anyway, I would strut right in there. I mean, unwittingly alienate people or something like that, and kind of do a kind of a girly posture. I don't know if you guys saw comedian Dane Cook, where the part where he was talking about girlfriends or ex-girlfriends or something, where the woman would do the womanly pivot. He'd make fun of the womanly pivot. You know, make the face and tell you, oh, you're stupid, you're a father. Stupid like your father. But that's the closest analogy I can come up with, where I would project something unwittingly. I'm trying to say this without laughing, because I did do this. I'd walk by and just some girly posture like this and do like a pivot, and I know they're probably out there watching. And I'd pick up my foot right over my head, like you see in the videos, right on an I-beam, and hold my foot like this, in a way almost like, But part of you almost was like, you figure one of them would walk up and say, oh yeah, that's nothing, you know, we'll watch this, you know what I mean? Because you may have had one back there, or back in their younger days, where they might have did ballet or was a cheerleader or something, or like in one of the movie, you ever see the movie Titanic, where guys are arm wrestling, saying, and she goes, the woman walks right up to him, oh, you think you're so tough, but I bet you can't do this, and she stands right on the bare toes and just like that, you know. But yes, I had a tendency to do that. I might have alienated people like that, but I'd say on a separate video later too that I actually think that a lot of shit that I do should be encouraged, because the way the world is getting now, I would set up a company right next to these people if I could, and I would encourage and even give bonuses to the people that worked for me, that start out at an entry level to do a lot of the things I do, because people are regressing and they're de-evolving. I don't want to call people fat. I don't want to call people overly skinny, but now you got people that are just think it's noble to walk around, you know, barely walking with a belly out to here, and sit there and ask you ignorant questions and mock you for what you do and what you think or how you get yourself to your job because you don't drive an SUV or car. Or it's noble to walk around with skinny legs and skinny arms and stupid t-shirt and shorts, you know. And like I said, there's regressive liberals and there's regressive conservatives, which like guys talk about too in idiotic religion these days. You got the more athletic Christian, and now you got the skinny, smart-mouthed, sarcastic Christian, which I met with stupid little skinny legs and t-shirt and shorts, khakis with shorts with the pockets in them, and these skinny-ass legs, and there's usually they're wearing yellow t-shirts, skinny with these little sleeves. Like I tell you, one I worked next to at a place one time that actually made the armor for army trucks, which. But yeah, this is random talk. I wanted to, but eventually I'm going to do some videos talking about try to split up the subject matter in a nutshell. You know what I mean? But this video is mostly for people who know me already. Nobody else is going to give a shit about this video, like that been following my videos. But I believe in general that I think it's time for a change. I mean, I worked in places next to heavy equipment, okay? And I picked up pallets. It was normal to pick up pallets over your head, throw them different kind of ways. I did that. But then I worked in this place right now, picking up a pallet over your head to stack it on there is a crime. Or you drag it the wrong way is a crime. And it's something that you can get in trouble. So paranoid about getting sued. And they're fucking hypocrites because look how many people, even though if you get injured during the job, it's covered, right? Look how many people that fake injuries so they could get workman's comp, but you can go to jail for that. They have people that will investigate you if they catch you, say you hurt your back, right? I seen it on TV once. You can get investigated, say you're moving heavy refrigerators and doing all kind of shit, or maybe even playing sports or something, playing football or something with a kid in some kind of way, or playing golf or whatever. You say you hurt your back at workman's comp, or you can go to jail, if you get caught. Anyway, there's an ugly ass backwards things in the name of safety that not just in the workplace that they're trying to discourage you out there in the world from doing now. And then now I'm gonna do video now separately too, not just about the workplace. It's about how they're making everything now silly, crazy, and some kind of morally wrong or morally deranged or deficient now. They're just making it making it an etiquette violation, which was one of the things in this job I was at too, where I got called in the office before they made it a safety issue. One slightly overweight woman behind the desk that was nice at first and all that, and the other boss right next to me. The first thing they said before it was a safety issue says people were complaining because they think it's weird. So whether you're in a workplace or outside in the world, bettering yourself any kind of way or toughening up any kind of a way is weird, and it's an etiquette violation of somehow. That's how they trying to stop you from doing damn near everything now. I mean, it's to a point where it's just getting ridiculous. I mean, it's gotten beyond words. There's like so much in that I couldn't possibly make a one video summing it all up. But every single thing is dangerous. You can get hurt. It's a etiquette violation. It's weird. And in a nutshell, you're supposed to be strong and smart enough to do your work and run whatever equipment you're doing, run a machine, do the labor. Smart enough to do all that in the paperwork, but submissive and weak enough to just do everything you're told. I mean, and part of the conventional religion is like that too. And I think it's just getting like ridiculous and sad. And eventually I make it like you're walking on eggshells and make it even illegal. I mean, if you don't just go to Planet Fitness and do the conventional fitness routines that you pay out the ass, you have to associate with a lot of people to do. You don't do that, and everybody sees you're on that roster, so they see everything you're doing. You have to answer for it. You do it outside of there. You're committing some kind of crime or something, and you might even be doing something illegal. I mean, yeah, you might be training for a showdown against your boss, some authority, or some kind of thing like that. Oh, you're not allowed to. Yeah, not that you're going to do that. If they see that you're strutting in a workplace or strutting around anywhere, that you're getting strong, so that you don't have to be intimidated or scared of anybody, that just so that you can, not that you're going to be violent, just so that, like me, for example, just so that you can walk around with a cocky look on her face and walk around, the cocky look on your face that's like flipping the bird, But this is a sloppy ass video, but just going to try to just just make this random talk, and then so many aspects of this stuff that I'm just telling you in this video, so many different ways I can go with this. It's